I'm not going to Derby, and here's why. So earlier today, I posted a quick clip of me running some balls on my table and mentioning that I was going to the gym. And with the Derby City Classic fresh on everyone's mind and in full swing, I got one repeated and very similar response. So I figured this video is worth making to answer that question and to explain why. Last year, I went to the Derby City Classic and I did pretty okay.
Congratulations, Raymond, taking Josh Filler down. What a match.
No way, dude.
Wow, unbelievable. Congratulations to Raymond Lar.
Kick it in. Now, see.
It's a tournament that I really enjoy, and because of the sheer volume of players that are in that event, there's an opportunity there for you to really get some match play in and get accustomed to the tables and get into a really good stroke before you start scraping up against the top players. But this year I had to take a step back and refocus on the bigger picture. What are my priorities and what are my goals when it comes to tournament play, and how do the tournaments that I sign up for support those goals long term? Right now, the priority number one for me is to earn a tour card on the World Nineball Tour. Earning a tour card for the World Nineball Tour is a gateway to bigger goals for me long term. And without a clear idea of what that process looks like, I have to be wise about how I utilize limited resources to go achieve those goals. In the current climate, there are a few variables that affect somebody like me who's looking to break into the World Nineball Tour. One of those variables is political. The ongoing dispute with the WNT and the WPA means that there is potential for bans, suspensions, and lockouts of certain players who are currently listed as World Nineball Tour pros. This means that if those lockouts and suspensions go into effect, then tour card positions could open up. Now, last year I was registered and contracted with the World Nineball Tour as a top-up player, which is basically a reservist or an alternate to the World Nineball Tour. This means that if a major tournament would come up and a WNT pro could not make the tournament, then an invitation would go out to the top-up players to fill those spots to make sure that the bracket on the WNT side was full. So it's possible then, if these bans go into effect and these suspected 15 to 20 players of the 128 are affected and aren't able to meet their obligations to the World Nineball Tour, then their WNT spots could be up for grabs and potentially could be offered up to a top-up player like myself. The second variable is related to something called Q School or Qualification School. The World Nineball Tour announced last year that this year would be the first year that they implement Q School as a format or a program to bring new members and give new members a chance to qualify onto the World Nineball Tour. Now, there's no details or structure or tournament dates related to Q School yet posted on the World Nineball Tour website, but if I did not get offered a tour card and Q School were to roll out during the season, then that would be where my energy, resources, and focus would shift in order to make sure to try and earn a card to get on the tour. Again, this is a fluid situation with no firm details yet announced on how this is potentially going to roll out. Another variable, of course, is financial. Last year, I invested in myself a lot, and that's expensive. But I put myself in positions over and over again last year to compete against the best players in the world in the hopes that I would make a splash, get some key wins, make some developmental progress in my game, and hopefully earn an opportunity on the World Nineball Tour. Obviously, last year at Derby, I beat a few players that are on the World Nineball Tour, including a couple Moscone Cup players, and of course, the number one rated player in the world, Josh Filler. That performance, namely at Derby, led to the opportunity that made me a top-up player and an effective reservist on the World Nineball Tour. So for that, I'm really grateful. Currently, I only have one financial sponsor that helps contribute towards my tournament expenses each year. Now, that contribution from the folks at Beyond Billiards is good enough to cover basically 1 to 2 major tournaments. I'm really careful about how I'm spending my money. So when I started thinking about this year and what my schedule was going to look like, I thought to myself, if I could only pick 5 or 6 tournaments to go to, which tournaments would those be? And then that process became really easy for me to narrow down. The top priority for me is the US Open. It's the biggest event in the country and it's the most prestigious. And between that and the World Nine Ball Championships, it's hard to determine which one has the most prestige. But the U.S. Open, just for me and Sentimental Valley, there's long-term goals associated to that tournament, and so that was an easy one to pick. Matchroom during the Moscone Cup announced an upcoming Florida Open, which is to be determined as far as location and date, but I would obviously be very keen to want to play in the Florida Open. As somebody who lives in Florida, that would be both beneficial for me from a cost perspective, but also give me an opportunity to compete in front of my family and my friends. There's a pending Texas Open as well, so we're hoping to see confirmed dates for the Texas Open. Texas is very easy to travel to from Florida, and if it's in association with Skinny Bob's, I've been to that tournament before and I had a really good performance there as well a couple years ago. There's the International Open that takes place later on in the year, and that's also a Florida-based tournament. So from a cost perspective, it's really a smart idea to try and focus my resources on the international. The Battle of the Bull in Virginia was a possible tournament that came up for me because it's usually very high added money, and it's run by Corey Wolford and his family playing out of the Wolf's Den. It's a great tournament, usually a really tough field, but Virginia is a pretty cheap flight from Florida, and it's a lot of added money. So it's one that I have earmarked as a possible tournament that I want to go to this year for sure. And then as it relates to overseas tournaments, there's one tournament that I'm keen on traveling to this year, and I'd love the opportunity to go compete in, which would be the UK Open. And now I haven't played the UK Open before, and last year was my first time competing overseas when I went to the European Open in Fulda in Germany. And I just feel like visiting England and pit stopping through London on the way to Telford would be a great opportunity. So of these tournaments, only the UK Open is officially listed on the Matchroom Tour schedule as of right now. So in the past couple years, my strategy when it comes to World Nine Ball Tour stuff has been to play more regional events. Obviously, there's a benefit of attending regional events and staying sharp, getting an opportunity to compete and compete against top name players and really, test yourself. So if there's an opportunity that comes up that's convenient and is available, I'll definitely take the opportunity to attend. However, with being mindful about achieving a specific goal with limited resources, I thought it was best to focus on specific tournaments that are relatively easy to travel to, but still give me an opportunity to earn big wins against top players. Now, this all might pivot and shift as more schedule announcements come and more information is released, but for now, it means taking a step back and sitting out of the Derby this year. So what will I be doing in the meantime while the Derby City is going on and I'm waiting for the tournaments that I'm choosing to go compete in? Well, for one, I'll be training my body. I've been really focused on hitting the gym and getting in tip-top shape, getting in fighting shape. There were a few tournaments early last year, especially, where I could really feel fatigue creeping up in late parts of the tournaments. So I think the emphasis on training physically has been really important for me through the holiday season and into the start of this new year. So that's something that I'm really locked in on at the moment because I want to go to these tournaments and feel my best and give my body the best opportunity to compete and perform at a high level. I'm planning on continuing to build my skills. So definitely be training hard here at the home studio, sparring against local friends who are quality players, and getting just the quality reps in on the deep work that needs to happen so that when I go to those tournaments, I'm as sharp as possible. Another thing I'm working on, of course, is the launch of my YouTube channel. This is something that I've been wanting to do now for several years, and due to life and circumstances and maybe a little procrastination, I've been putting it off, but I can in good faith continue to delay the launch of this channel because I have a lot of really cool ideas that I think could be really impactful. and can serve a lot of people and influence a lot of people through the stuff that I want to create on the channel. It's a perfect blend of two of my biggest passions, and it just feels like the right thing for me to do. And it feels like the right time for me to do that. So, this is definitely something that I'll be working on and putting a lot of energy on to continue to release. I'm working on some videos now that I think are going to be really cool. Plus, I feel like this channel can be an avenue to creating content more regularly online in the pool space and put together some of my award-winning filmmaking stuff in cool, novel ways. But I also think it could be a bridge in the gap for me to getting to a place where I can compete more regularly down the line. So I'm looking forward to putting in a lot of work on this YouTube channel. So if you'd like to support me, then the best and least expensive thing that you can do to do that is to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you feel inclined, please leave a comment in the comments below as to some of the content you'd like to see, and I'll take note of that and try and roll it out to you guys as soon as I can. For now, I really appreciate the love and support. I hope you guys are all well. I can't wait to see you guys at the next big event this year. But for now, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.